The arrival. The day the Zarkonian ships appeared in Earth's orbit started like any other. People went about their daily routines, unaware that their lives were about to change forever. It was a crisp autumn morning when the first reports of strange objects in the sky began to surface. At first, most dismissed the sightings as elaborate hoaxes or misidentified weather balloons. But as more and more people around the globe reported seeing the same thing, it became clear that something extraordinary was happening. Dr. Elena Rodriguez, a leading astrophysicist at NASA, was among the first to confirm the presence of the alien vessels. She stood in the control room of the Jet Propulsion Laboratory, her eyes wide with a mixture of awe and trepidation as she studied the readings on the screens before her. "This is unprecedented," she murmured, her voice barely above a whisper. "These objects, they're massive, and they're not following any known orbital patterns. They're just hovering." As news of the alien presence spread, the world's governments scrambled to respond. Emergency meetings were called, military forces were put on high alert, and scientists worked around the clock to gather as much information as possible about the mysterious visitors. In New York City, United Nations Secretary-General Amara Okoro stood before the General Assembly, her voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. "We face an unprecedented moment in human history," she declared. "The presence of these extraterrestrial beings presents both great opportunity and great risk. We must approach this situation with caution, wisdom, and above all, unity." But unity proved elusive as panic began to grip the world's population. In major cities, people stockpiled supplies and sought shelter. Religious leaders proclaimed the end times, while conspiracy theorists had a field day with their "I told you so" moments. Amidst the chaos, a small team of linguists, led by Dr. James Chen, worked tirelessly to develop a means of communication with the aliens. "We're operating on the assumption that they're here for a reason," Dr. Chen explained to a group of anxious government officials. "If we can establish communication, we might be able to understand their intentions and avoid potential conflict." Days turned into weeks, and still, the Zarkonian ships remained silent and motionless in Earth's orbit. The initial panic began to give way to a tense anticipation. Humanity held its collective breath, waiting for the other shoe to drop. It was on the 30th day after their arrival that the Zarkonians finally made their move. Without warning, smaller craft began to descend from the motherships, heading towards various points around the globe. In Washington, D.C., President Evelyn Kerr stood in the Situation Room, surrounded by her top advisors. "What's their target?" she demanded, her eyes fixed on the large screen displaying the aliens' movements. "They seem to be focusing on areas rich in natural resources," replied General Marcus Stone, his face grim. "Mining sites, oil fields, large bodies of water." As the world watched in horror, the Zarkonian ships began to deploy massive structures that burrowed into the Earth. It quickly became apparent that these were not envoys of peace or cultural exchange. They were here to take what they wanted. Dr. Rodriguez, who had been monitoring the situation closely, made a startling discovery. "The energy readings from these extraction devices are off the charts," she reported. "They're not just mining surface resources. They're tapping into the Earth's core." The implications were staggering. If the aliens continued their extraction at this rate, they could potentially destabilize the planet's magnetic field, leading to catastrophic consequences for all life on Earth. Attempts to communicate with the Zarkonians continued, but to no avail. It was as if humanity's most advanced technology was nothing more than the buzzing of insects to these advanced beings. As the reality of the situation sank in, a grim determination began to take hold. Humanity might be outmatched technologically, but they weren't going down without a fight. In labs and workshops around the world, scientists and engineers worked feverishly to understand and replicate the alien technology. Military strategists devised plans to combat an enemy that seemed invincible, and ordinary people found reserves of strength and ingenuity they never knew they possessed. One such person was Sarah Kamani, a young engineer from Nairobi. As she watched the Zarkonian ships ravage her homeland, an idea began to form. Their technology is advanced, yes, she mused, but it still operates on fundamental principles of physics. If we can understand those principles, we might find a weakness. Little did Sarah know that her insights would soon play a crucial role in humanity's fight for survival. As the first month of the Zarkonian invasion drew to a close, humanity stood on the brink of either extinction or the greatest challenge it had ever faced. The Zarkonians might see humans as insignificant insects, but they were about to learn a harsh lesson. On Earth, even the smallest creatures can have a deadly sting. The harvest begins. As the Zarkonian extraction devices burrowed deeper into the Earth, the planet's response was swift and terrifying. Earthquakes rocked cities across the globe. Tectonic plates shifted unpredictably, and dormant volcanoes roared back to life. It was as if the Earth itself was crying out in pain. Dr. Elena Rodriguez stood before a room full of haggard world leaders, her usual composure cracking under the weight of her findings. The Zarkonians aren't just mining resources, she explained, her voice trembling. They're extracting the Earth's molten core. If they continue at this rate, our planet will be nothing more than a lifeless husk within a year. The room erupted into chaos as the implications sank in. Amidst the uproar, Sarah Kamani, the young engineer from Nairobi, raised her voice. "But why?" she asked. "Why go to all this trouble for iron and nickel? Surely there are easier sources in space." Dr. James Chen, the linguist who had been trying to establish communication with the aliens, cleared his throat. "We've made some progress in deciphering their transmissions," he said. "It seems they don't just want the materials. They want them in their molten state, something about the energy potential of superheated liquid metals." As the Zarkonians continued their relentless harvesting, humanity's response was fragmented and largely ineffective. Conventional weapons barely scratched the alien ships, and nuclear options were off the table. No one wanted to risk further destabilizing the planet. In this darkest hour, an unlikely hero emerged. Captain Zhen Lu of the Chinese space station noticed something odd about the Zarkonian ships. "Their hulls," he reported excitedly. "They're not uniform. There are these nodules, and they seem to pulse in sync with the extraction process." Sarah Kamani latched onto this information. Working with a global team of scientists, she proposed a daring theory. "What if these nodules are some kind of harmonic resonators?" she suggested. "If we could disrupt their frequency, we might be able to interfere with their technology." It was a long shot, but with options running out, the world's leaders gave the green light to Project Dissonance. Teams around the globe worked tirelessly to develop devices that could generate the right counter-frequency. Meanwhile, the Zarkonians continued their harvest, seemingly oblivious to humanity's efforts. Cities crumbled as the ground beneath them became unstable. Millions were displaced, seeking refuge on higher ground or in vast underground bunkers. President Evelyn Kerr addressed what remained of the United Nations. "We face extinction," she said bluntly. "But humanity has faced overwhelming odds before. We've survived ice ages, plagues, and our own destructive tendencies. We will survive this too." Her words sparked a global movement. People from all walks of life volunteered their skills and resources. Farmers repurposed their equipment to help build the massive resonators needed for Project Dissonance. Hackers worked around the clock to breach Zarkonian communications. Even children contributed, their unique perspectives sometimes providing insights that adults had overlooked. As Project Dissonance neared completion, humanity held its breath. Would it work? Or would it provoke the Zarkonians into more aggressive action? The answer came on a sweltering summer day. As the resonators powered up around the globe, the effect was immediate and dramatic. The Zarkonian ships shuddered, their extraction beams flickering and dying. For a moment, hope surged through the human population. But the victory was short-lived. Within hours, the aliens had adapted their technology, and the harvest resumed. However, this brief success had proven something crucial. The Zarkonians were not invincible. In the aftermath, Sarah Khamenei addressed a team of international scientists. "We've shown that we can affect their technology," she said, her eyes gleaming with determination. "Now we need to push further. We need to understand not just how to disrupt their machines, but how to control them." As if in response to this new human defiance, the Zarkonians escalated their efforts. New, more efficient extraction devices were deployed. The Earth's crust began to crack on a massive scale, entire continents starting to shift and buckle. Dr. Rodriguez's predictions were coming true faster than anyone had anticipated. "We have months, not a year," she reported grimly. "If we can't stop them soon, there won't be an Earth left to save." The race against time had begun in earnest. Humanity, once seen as mere insects by the Zarkonians, was starting to show its true resilience. But would it be enough? As Sarah and her team redoubled their efforts, the fate of the entire planet hung in the balance. In underground bunkers and hastily constructed research facilities, humans from all nations worked together with a single purpose: survival. The Zarkonians had awakened a sleeping giant, and humanity was about to show these alien invaders why Earth had always been a death world to those who underestimated its inhabitants. Adaptation and resistance. As the Earth continued to fracture under the relentless Zarkonian assault, humanity's survival instinct kicked into overdrive. The brief success of Project Dissonance had proven that the aliens weren't invincible, and this spark of hope ignited a firestorm of human ingenuity. Sarah Khamenei, now heading a global think tank of scientists and engineers, pushed the boundaries of human knowledge. "We need to think beyond disruption," she urged her team. "We need to find a way to turn their own technology against them." Meanwhile, in the remnants of Silicon Valley, a group of AI researchers led by Dr. Raj Patel made a breakthrough. They had been working on decoding the complex algorithms that govern Zarkonian technology. "It's not just advanced," Dr. Patel explained, his eyes wide with excitement and lack of sleep. "It's alive. Their ships, their extraction devices, they're all part of a vast, interconnected organism." This revelation changed everything. If the Zarkonian technology was indeed a form of artificial life, then perhaps it could be reasoned with or infected. As scientists worked on this new approach, ordinary citizens were fighting back in their own ways. In the Australian outback, Aboriginal communities used their deep connection with the land to predict and avoid the worst of the tectonic shifts. In the Amazon rainforest, indigenous tribes developed camouflage techniques that allowed them to move undetected by Zarkonian scanners. Even in the most devastated areas, human resilience shone through. In what was once Tokyo, now a series of interconnected artificial islands floating on the churning Pacific, engineers had developed a new form of stabilization technology. "We're essentially surfing on the Earth's molten mantle," explained Dr. Yuki Tanaka, the project lead. "If we can't stop the planet from breaking apart, we'll adapt to survive on the pieces." But adaptation wasn't enough. Humanity needed a way to strike back. The opportunity came from an unexpected source. Captain Zhen Liu, still orbiting Earth in the battered but functional Chinese space station, noticed something odd. "The Zarkonian motherships," he reported. "They're not just harvesting. They're gestating." Further observation confirmed Captain Liu's theory. The Zarkonians weren't just taking Earth's resources, they were using them to reproduce. Each mothership was slowly but surely becoming two. Dr. Elena Rodriguez saw the implications immediately. "This is why they need so much energy," she realized. "This isn't just harvesting. It's a life cycle." Armed with this knowledge, Sarah Khamenei and her team formulated a daring plan. If the Zarkonian ships were indeed living organisms, then perhaps they could be susceptible to a virus. A human-made digital virus. The plan was risky. It would require getting close enough to a Zarkonian ship to directly interface with its systems. Many argued it was suicide. But as President Kerr pointed out, "We're dead anyway if we do nothing. At least this gives us a fighting chance." Volunteers were called for, and the response was overwhelming. From every corner of the globe, pilots, astronauts, and tech experts stepped forward, ready to risk everything for a chance to save their world. The mission was set. A small, stealthy craft, built with a combination of human and reverse-engineered Zarkonian technology, would approach one of the alien ships. A team would board, plant the virus, and hopefully escape before it took effect. As the day of the mission dawned, the world held its breath. In hidden bunkers and makeshift shelters, billions watched and waited. This was humanity's last, best hope. The craft, dubbed David after the biblical underdog, launched under the cover of a massive electromagnetic storm, a side effect of the ongoing core extraction that for once worked in humanity's favor. At its helm was a diverse crew. Sarah Kamani, whose brilliant mind had conceived the virus, Captain Jen Liu, whose space expertise was crucial for the mission, Dr. Raj Patel, to handle any last-minute AI adjustments, and Major Sophia Chen, a veteran fighter pilot with nerves of steel. As David approached the massive Zarkonian vessel, the true scale of what they were up against became apparent. The alien ship dwarfed anything humanity had ever built, a city-sized mass of pulsing, living metal. Remember, Sarah's voice was steady over the comm system. We're not just fighting for our lives. We're fighting for our right to exist. The Zarkonians see us as insects. Let's show them that even insects can topple giants. With those words echoing in their minds, the crew of David initiated docking procedures. As they breached the outer hull of the Zarkonian ship, they stepped into the unknown, carrying with them the hopes and dreams of every human left on the dying Earth. The interior of the ship was like nothing they had ever seen. Corridors shifted and pulsed with an inner light, and the air itself seemed alive with data. As they made their way deeper into the ship, guided by Dr. Patel's real-time analysis of the ship's systems, they felt as if they were traversing the inside of a massive alien brain. Finally, they reached what appeared to be a central node. Sarah stepped forward, the virus contained in a device of her own design. As she prepared to interface with the alien system, alarms suddenly blared to life around them. "We've been detected." Major Chen's voice was tense but controlled. "We need to move fast." Sarah's fingers flew over the alien console, her mind racing to adapt the virus to the system before her. The others formed a defensive perimeter, ready to buy her the time she needed at any cost. As the sounds of approaching Zarkonian defenses grew louder, Sarah finally looked up, a mix of exhaustion and triumph on her face. "It's done," she said simply. The team raced back to their ship, fighting off strange, amorphous defense drones. As David disengaged from the Zarkonian vessel, they watched with bated breath. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then, slowly at first, but with gathering speed, the massive ship began to shudder and convulse. "It's working," Dr. Patel exclaimed, his eyes fixed on his readings. "The virus is spreading through their network." As David sped back towards Earth, they watched in awe as the effects spread from ship to ship. The massive Zarkonian fleet, once so intimidating, now writhed in space like wounded beasts. But their victory celebration was cut short. As the Zarkonian ships faltered, their grip on Earth's core weakened. The already unstable planet began to shake more violently than ever before. "We've stopped the Zarkonians," Captain Liu said gravely, "but we may have doomed the Earth in the process." As they re-entered Earth's atmosphere, the crew of David realized that their mission wasn't over. They had won the battle against the alien invaders, but the war to save their homeworld was just beginning. The Great Exodus. As the crew of David re-entered Earth's atmosphere, the true scale of their predicament became apparent. The planet was in chaos. Massive tectonic shifts had reshaped continents, and the weakened magnetic field was allowing deadly solar radiation to penetrate the atmosphere. Dr. Elena Rodriguez's voice crackled over the comm system, her tone grave. "The core destabilization has reached a critical point. We've bought ourselves some time by stopping the Zarkonians, but..." She paused, gathering herself. Earth will be uninhabitable within months. The news spread quickly, and an eerie calm settled over what remained of humanity. They had defeated an alien threat only to face extinction from their own wounded planet. But humans, as they had proven time and again, were nothing if not adaptable. President Kerr, speaking from a hardened bunker deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, addressed the world. "We have faced our darkest hour and emerged victorious. Now we face perhaps an even greater challenge, but we will meet it as we have met every challenge, with courage, with ingenuity, and with the unbreakable spirit that defines us as humans." Her words sparked a global movement unlike anything seen before in human history. Operation Exodus was born. The plan was audacious: to build a fleet of Orcs, massive self-contained habitats that could support tens of thousands of people each, and launch them into space in search of a new home. "It's not just about survival," Sarah Kameni explained to a group of engineers. "It's about preserving who we are, our knowledge, our cultures. We're not just saving lives, we're saving humanity itself." Every remaining resource on Earth was poured into the project. Former enemies worked side by side, old grudges forgotten in the face of extinction. The Zarkonian ships, now inert in Earth's orbit, were scavenged for technology that could aid in the construction of the Orcs. Dr. Raj Patel and his team worked tirelessly to adapt Zarkonian propulsion systems for human use. "Their tech is like nothing we've ever seen," he marveled. "It's almost like it evolves to meet new challenges. We're not just reverse engineering it, we're teaching it to work for us." Meanwhile, Captain Zhen Lu led efforts to map potential destinations. "We've identified several promising systems within reach," he reported, "but we'll need to develop faster than light travel if we hope to reach them within our lifetimes." As the Orcs took shape in makeshift orbital shipyards, difficult decisions had to be made. There simply wasn't room for everyone. A global lottery system was implemented, ensuring a diverse cross-section of humanity would be represented on each Orc. It was a process fraught with ethical dilemmas and heartbreak. Dr. Yuki Tanaka, whose floating city technology had saved millions, summed up the mood. "We're not just choosing who lives and who dies. We're choosing what parts of our culture, our knowledge, our very identity as a species will survive." As the launch date approached, Earth's condition worsened. Massive storms ravaged what was left of the surface, and the ground shook constantly. It was as if the planet itself was urging its children to leave the nest. In orbit, the first of the Orcs, christened Novaterra, prepared for its maiden voyage. Its crew was a microcosm of humanity. Scientists, artists, farmers, teachers, all chosen to represent the best of what humanity had to offer. Sarah Kameni, now chief engineer of the Exodus fleet, stood on the bridge of Novaterra, looking down at the blue-green marble that had been humanity's home for millions of years. "We were nearly erased from existence," she mused, "treated as insignificant insects by the Zarkonians. But we proved that humans are anything but insignificant. We're survivors, explorers, dreamers. And now we're taking those dreams to the stars." As the final preparations were made, an unexpected message was received from Earth. It was Dr. Elena Rodriguez, who had chosen to remain behind with a team of scientists. "We've made a discovery." Her voice was filled with excitement despite the static. "The Zarkonian virus. It's not just affecting their ships. It's spreading to their other technology, including the extraction devices still embedded in Earth's core. We think we might be able to use it to stabilize the planet." The news sent shockwaves through the fleet. Could Earth be saved after all? But there was no time to change plans. The Orcs had to launch now or risk being destroyed by the increasingly volatile conditions. President Kerr made the difficult decision. "We proceed with the launch," she announced, her voice heavy with emotion. "But we leave behind everything we've learned about the virus. If there's any chance to save Earth, we owe it to those staying behind to try." As the countdown began, humanity held its collective breath. The first Orc, Novaterra, ignited its engines, a fusion of human ingenuity and adapted alien technology. As it broke free from Earth's gravity, cheers erupted across the planet and throughout the fleet. One by one, the Orcs launched, each carrying a precious cargo of human life and the accumulated knowledge and culture of thousands of years of civilization. As the last Ark cleared Earth's atmosphere, those left behind sent a final message: go forth and thrive. Remember us, but don't look back. The future of humanity lies ahead. With a flash of light that outshone the stars, the Exodus fleet engaged their FTL drives, disappearing into the depths of space. Humanity, once seen as mere insects by the Zarkonians, had not only survived, but was now embarking on the greatest adventure in its history. As Earth receded in the viewscreens, growing smaller until it was just another twinkling light in the vast cosmic ocean, Sarah Kameni addressed the fleet. We carry with us the hopes and dreams of every human who has ever lived. We have faced extinction and emerged stronger. We are no longer just the children of Earth. We are the children of the stars, and we will make our ancestors proud. The Orcs surged forward into the unknown, carrying with them the indomitable spirit of humanity. A spirit that had proven it could overcome any obstacle, adapt to any challenge, and turn even the gravest threat into an opportunity for growth and evolution. The journey of humanity among the stars had begun. A new dawn. A century had passed since the Exodus fleet left Earth behind. The Orcs, now spread across several star systems, had become the new cradles of human civilization. Each had evolved in its own unique way, adapting to the challenges and opportunities presented by their new homes. On the bridge of the flagship Nova Terra, now a sprawling space station orbiting a terraformed world, Sarah Kameni's great-granddaughter, Amara, stood gazing at the stars. At 130 years old, kept vital by advances in medical technology, she was one of the last surviving members of the original Exodus. Admiral. A young ensign approached, excitement evident in his voice. We're receiving a transmission. It's from Earth. Amara's eyes widened. In the century since their departure, there had been no word from their ancestral home. Many had assumed the worst, that the efforts to stabilize the planet had failed, and Earth was lost forever. As the message played, a familiar face appeared on the screen. It was Dr. Elena Rodriguez, or rather, an AI construct based on her consciousness. Greetings, children of Earth, the AI Elena said, her voice filled with warmth. We have much to tell you. Over the next few hours, Amara and the leaders of the human colonies listened in awe as AI Elena recounted the story of Earth's rebirth. The Zarkonian virus, guided by the tireless efforts of the scientists left behind, had indeed managed to stabilize the planet's core, but it had done much more than that. The virus evolved, AI Elena explained. It began to integrate with Earth's biosphere, accelerating the planet's natural healing processes. Forests regrew at unprecedented rates, oceans purified themselves, and the atmosphere repaired its ozone layer. But the most astonishing development was yet to come. As Earth healed, AI Elena continued, we began to detect signs of intelligence emerging from the integrated virus Earth system. We are not alone here anymore. Earth itself has awakened. The implications were staggering. Earth, it seemed, had become a living, thinking entity, a planetary intelligence born from the merger of terrestrial life, human technology, and alien software. As news of Earth's transformation spread throughout the human colonies, it sparked a renaissance of scientific and philosophical inquiry. Humanity had evolved during its time among the stars, but now they faced a new paradigm shift. Dr. Raj Patel's descendant, Vikram, now the lead xenobiologist of the colony Novus Prime, was ecstatic. Don't you see? He exclaimed to a packed auditorium. This is why the Zarkonians harvested molten planetary cores. They weren't just gathering resources, they were seeding intelligence across the galaxy. The revelation sparked a heated debate among the colonies. Some saw it as a chance to reconnect with their ancestral home, to learn from this new form of life. Others were more cautious, remembering the devastation wrought by the last alien intelligence they encountered. Amara, drawing on the wisdom of her long life, addressed the Council of Colonies. A century ago, we were seen as insects by the Zarkonians. We proved them wrong through our resilience, our adaptability, and our unwavering spirit. Now, we face a new form of life, born from our own world. We must approach this with the same courage and curiosity that has defined humanity since its beginnings. Her words resonated across the colonies, and a decision was made. A mission would be sent back to Earth, not to reclaim or conquer, but to learn and establish a dialogue with this new planetary intelligence. As preparations for the Earth mission began, another startling discovery was made. The long-range sensors of Novaterra picked up signs of Zarkonian-like technology in a distant star system. Captain Yuki Tanaka, great-grandson of the floating city engineer, brought the news to Amara. It seems the Zarkonians, or something like them, are still out there. What do we do? Amara stood silent for a moment, considering the weight of the situation. Then, a slow smile spread across her face. We do what humanity has always done. We reach out, we learn, we grow. She turned to the gathered leaders of the colonies. A century ago, we fled Earth as refugees, seen as insignificant by a vastly superior alien race. Today, we stand as a spacefaring civilization, having not only survived but thrived. We've colonized new worlds, advanced our technology beyond our wildest dreams, and now we've learned that our home world has ascended to a new form of existence. Her voice grew stronger, filled with the indomitable spirit that had carried humanity through its darkest hours. We are no longer the insects the Zarkonians thought us to be. We are no longer merely the children of Earth. We are the inheritors of the stars, the cultivators of worlds, the bridge between organic and digital life. She gestured towards the starfield displayed on the view screen. Out there, our past and our future await. An awakened Earth, birthed from the merger of terrestrial life and alien technology. And somewhere in the cosmic ocean, the civilization that once threatened our existence. We will meet these challenges as we've met every other, with courage, with wisdom, and with the unshakable belief in our potential. We are humanity. We have faced extinction and used it as a springboard to the stars. Now let us show the universe what we've become. As Amara's words echoed across subspace, carried to every human colony and outpost, a new chapter in human history began. The mission to Earth launched, carrying with it the hopes and dreams of a species reborn. And in the vast shipyards orbiting the colony worlds, a new fleet took shape, not for war, but for exploration and diplomacy. Humanity, once dismissed as insects, had emerged from the crucible of near extinction as something new. They were no longer merely survivors, but shapers of destiny, their own, their homeworlds, and perhaps even the galaxies. As the first ships of the new fleet prepared to launch, Amara looked out at the star-studded void, a gleam of anticipation in her eyes. The universe had tried to exterminate humanity, but instead, it had only forced them to evolve. Now they were ready to take their place among the cosmos, not as insects, not as victims, but as equals to whatever wonders or challenges awaited them. The next great adventure of humankind was about to begin.